Good afternoon, Manufacturing All-Stars, and welcome to this episode of Manufacturing Happy Hour. Today, you are going to learn how to start your own online video series. Now, on this show, we're typically talking about trends in automation and manufacturing. And even though that's still the audience that this video series is geared towards, this particular episode really could apply to anyone that's looking to start their own online video series. Now, in today's modern selling market, there are plenty of good reasons to start a video series. Maybe it's to engage a younger audience, or maybe it's to increase your company's social media presence. Whatever the reason, I'm going to give you 3 quick things to think about when you're starting your own video series. The first thing is, and one of the most important things to consider, is equipment. Now, equipment, to be honest, is an area where people usually get unnecessarily held up. For example, I currently use a Canon camera with a directional microphone to film my videos, but for the sake of today's video, forget about this thing. In fact, I'm just gonna put it off the screen so you don't even think about it. The reality is you have almost all the equipment you need to get started today just with your smartphone. Cameras on these smartphones today are perfectly good for capturing a video in a good quiet environment. Like this lab, for example, where I film a lot of times, isn't quite perfect. There's still a little background noise here and there, but the reality is you'll capture great video and great audio just on your smartphone. My hot take on equipment is that most people use it simply as an excuse to never get started on a video series. Now, the only thing I'll add that you might want to consider getting is, or you should certainly consider getting, is a camera stand. This is what's called a Joby Grip Tight, I believe. I'll have a link to this below the video so you know where to find it. This thing is basically a smartphone camera stand that you just set on a table like this one today. In fact, it's the setup that I'm using right now. I didn't want to do anything fancy for this video so you could see exactly how a video using this equipment and a smartphone turns out. So this is roughly about like 25 bucks on Amazon. Not a huge investment to get started. When I first created Manufacturing Happy Hour, I actually propped up a selfie stick using a bunch of books. So that just gives you an idea of how primitive of a setup you can need to get started. But as long as you've got something to mount your smartphone, you can get started shooting videos today. Now, as far as a spot to put those, when you're shooting on your smartphone, the nice thing is if you have the YouTube app, you can just upload your video straight from there onto YouTube. YouTube has a nice trim feature where if you're doing a one-take video like this, you can just shorten the beginning and the end if you're filming solo like I am today. And then you can have a clean video going straight to YouTube right away. So there's really, as far as even uploading and getting it out to your audience, that's simple as well. Finally, and the last thing to consider when you're starting a video series is make sure you have some consistency behind it and make sure you have a purpose behind your video series. You know, you'll notice in these videos that I usually have a what are you going to learn, 3 things that you learn throughout the episode, and a call to action. That's the formula I use, and it wasn't the one that I necessarily started with. The reality is, if you start a video series, your audience will start engaging with you, and they'll tell you what they want to see in your video series. Funny enough, that's why we're doing this video today, because as much as we do content on the automation industry and manufacturing in general, I've gotten enough requests from people saying, hey, how do you shoot these videos? So this is my way of helping you guys get started. So as my call to action for you today, going kind of meta with you on that, I've got a link below this video that is essentially your checklist on what you need to get started for a good online video series. Again, I'm keeping it really simple today. Maybe at another time we'll do kind of an advanced one for when you want to up your craft, but the reality is, don't worry about the equipment. Your smartphone is all you really need to get started. So with that, I hope this video was helpful. You know, whatever you thought, please leave some comments below the video. And in the meantime, as always, stay innovative, stay thirsty, and I'll see you again here on Manufacturing Happy Hour real soon. Cheers.